Hey, this is Dee Speed, Director of Design from YouTube. You are now tuned in with royalty. Teacup in hand, pinkies raised, hot sauce out the bag. And this is Tech Rap Queen.
Energy, vibes, inspiration. I'm Renee Reed, and this is Tech Rap Queen. Beautiful people, the royal court. Listen, you're definitely going to feel the vibes on this episode because I get to sit down and be in the presence of another queen, her regalness, the incredible Miss Dee Speed, also just known as D Queen D, as I like to call her. Welcome to Tech Rap Queen.
What's good? Thank you. I'm trying to wear all of that. I accept it all. I will wear that today.
As you should. Regalness, the crown, all of it.
Is it straight today? Because it's a little off kilter, the world we living in.
Listen, I sometimes I cock mine to the side, Biggie style. Come on. I don't think I've ever told you this story. When I first came to Silicon Valley, I think it was like the second week, and Alice Sherman came up to me and she was like, "You remind me of someone." And I was like, "Who?" She was like, "My girlfriend Dee."
Because I've had people I enjoyed if they are walk up to me and say, "It's over."
Are you serious?
I swear to God. I was like, well, shoot, at least I know her because she's fabulous. So thank you. That's a compliment to me.
Hello? Hey Alice, shout out to Alice. But
Alice
I will
is good.
never forget, I was in the cafeteria and she was like, "You have to meet her. You both are exactly the same." I didn't realize people were saying the same thing to you about me. Mm,
Yep.
that's amazing. Let us get into this. When did you know that this is where you wanted to be professionally?
I don't know a life without design. Now, if you had asked me when I was 4 what I was gonna be when I grew up, I would have told you even at the age of 4. I wanted to be a cardiosurgeon. I wanted to be a heart doctor. And it had a lot to do with where I come from. I mean, look at how we eat. I grew up in a place where, food, it was, is, and is still at the center of all of our cultural events. And for good or for bad, there are generations of us that are affected by that. And so I saw what it did to my family. I saw what it did to my friends and people I cared about. And I thought, I'm gonna grow up and be a doctor and save everybody. So I ended up getting a ride to Cornell and went there. It was my first day actually of med school. And we were in a class on ethics, and my professor kind of sat us all down. And I'm up front. I'm eager as hell. I'm all like, yeah. And I know I'm the only brown one up in here, and this is great. And then he asked a question. He says, let's say here the TA all of a sudden clutches at his chest, falls over, and collapses on the floor. And somebody screams, "Is there a doctor in the house?" How many of y'all are gonna, raise your hand and jump in to help? And of course, my hand shoots up. I didn't even think about it. This is what I'm here for. This is my moment. I'm about to impress the hell out of this professor. And then he proceeded to tell us why, if you were the head of surgery at Johns Hopkins or someplace, which is where I actually had my eyes set on, you don't just jump up and you don't just jump in. Put your altruism away because there's a thing called liability. And if you hurt this man, you jeopardize your career at this institution. Everything I knew and believed in that moment broke, and it broke bad. It's like if you ever had a moment in your life when you have to pray, please let me make it out of the door so they don't see what's about to happen here.
Mm.
I had to get up and walk out. And then I called my parents pretty much right away and told them I'm sorry because the thing that I had set for me, not just them, but the thing I had set for me, I can't do. They're not going to let me do it my way. I know they're not going to. I need to save my people. And that's not going to let me save my people. Knowing that I'm beholden to these bigger institutions or that there's some sort of liability in that. And I have to think about them first. Hell no. So daddy was disappointed. Mama was more understanding. 'cause she just that was just her. And she's like, "I'm not worried about you. You'll figure it out." Um, it took my dad a long time, but whatever. But the fallback was that I'd always had, like a double study a program. I had always had designs on redoing Grey's Anatomy. I was an illustrator. I felt like that stuff was too archaic. It was like reading the Gutenberg Bible and its version of illustrations, trying to understand how the human body worked. And I also didn't see bodies that looked like mine. And so I fell back on the art and graphic design stuff, and I did a lot of scientific and medical illustration, in the months to weeks that followed and just figured out, all right, I'm going to go to an ad agency. This ad agency in New York, there in Manhattan, that my roommate's dad was actually one of the managers of, parlayed into a role out in Cali. Cali should have never happened. I came out here on what was supposed to be a 4-day vacation, but I was fed up of living in New York in an apartment with no kitchen, working 2 jobs, being
Tell the
cold all
truth.
the damn
Let
time.
them know.
And, yeah, just tired of the noise and the rats, and I was like, "Well, alright, let's head out to Cali," and then that went from that advertising gig and working on my photography. This is still in an age when this was not all this stuff was not digital, all this was still manual and very, very, rudimentary
Mhm.
to getting a gig at Disney, and I was gonna go and draw for Disney, and that was I will create what would have effectively been The Princess and the Frog, like, that was the dream, was to create a character that was, like, more representative of me. Turns out, though, that they found that I was good at this, internet stuff, and this was the early days. So, like, I had an interest in learning how to code. I wanted to know how things got built because I hated the aesthetic of what was online. And so they were like, "Hey, you know this. We know theme parks." And this was something that actually Michael Eisner himself said to me. He's like, "I know theme parks, I know toys, I know movies. I don't understand how this works. We just bought ESPN, we bought movies.com. There's all this stuff going on, like ABC is coming. Help me make all this work." And these were in the way, way early days. I'm talking about like a product that doesn't even exist anymore. It was like go.com or something. But then that became like the Disney Internet Group. So it's a precursor to all that. And yeah, through a series of lucky breaks, just working really hard because you couldn't tell me shit. I had nothing to lose. I came to this, and I will tell anybody I'm not formally trained in design. HCI programs like we know today didn't exist. There was no Stanford D School. There was the D School streets that taught this. So it was like that. That's kind of how and where I came. And I've been through a lot of major companies um, here in Silicon Valley with that, and it's been good. It's been really good. I like that I've had a chance to learn along the way, and I like being non-traditional because it reminds me to do that with my teams, to hire people like that. And it's obviously making sense because you can tell the industry's going that way. And it's not just this level of design and tech, it's fashion, it's everything, it's Hollywood. They're all looking for these weird hybrid kids that come from the streets, but have an eye and an ear for telling them what's next and how to do it. So yeah, now I'm at YouTube.
Not just at YouTube. Let's go ahead and go ahead. Give you your crown, not just at YouTube. Director of design at YouTube, doing some incredible projects, leading teams, doing some incredible projects. Before we get into that, you talked to Michael Eisner. What was his role at the time?
Oh,
Uh,
he was CEO. That was back in the heyday when Disney was starting to just like Aladdin, which is like my all-time favorite Disney movie. They were making that interesting transition to digital. Pixar wasn't part of it yet. This was
yeah.
like all those Disney movies that everybody knew from like, the 90s, tail end of the 80s, late 90s,
Yep.
that era, that was him. And so, yeah, it was amazing. This was the guy that said Mickey's an icon, like, let's play on that.
Mhm.
They became a media company. That was when they a lot of people don't know that was when Disney first started thinking about all the future acquisitions they were gonna make into the family entertainment space. Like, they know media, and
Yeah.
my career's always been in some way, shape, or form associated with media. It doesn't matter who I was working for, what name above the door, it was always media, and especially music. So, yeah.
Royal Court, you can check out the full journey on LinkedIn, but now coming to YouTube, your love of music and the projects that you've been able to work on and get released. Let's talk about that.
Man, it's been a wild ride. I was actually over in Google X just working on, like, building out crazy stuff, like, fiber optics for trying to wire up the rest of the world and get people access, because access is usually the first point of failure that a lot of our communities have getting online.
Mhm.
And then my VP at the time, who I had a really good relationship with, he's like, "Hey, I'm kind of leaving here, and I'm actually going back to YouTube." And YouTube had always been a brass ring to me. It was like, I know that. I use that all the time. Like, so much dope stuff happens on that platform, and it is culture. Like, that would be a dream project to work on. And so a couple weeks later, I followed him over, and they gave me the opportunity to lead then this really tiny, tiny, really badly designed product called YouTube Music. And then they had another product called YouTube Red. So I got to run 2 teams, and it's several others have been kinda added to my portfolio over the years. It's been about 6 years now, but building YouTube Music has been some of my life's work. Honestly, I like it, and it sounds heavy to say, but it is the funnest, coolest thing I've ever had a chance to work on, and no shade to anybody that's come before, but, like, for real, y'all have never let me sit with, uh, Wyclef like that. You know what I mean? Or any other some of these, like, major artists I love and support.
What artists were you able to sit down with?
I mean, there was, like, Erykah Badu, Beyonce's mama, like, it doesn't matter who they are. If they're I run into so many people, and you just get the chance to talk to them, whether it's about YouTube or YouTube music specifically, like, yeah. Yeah, Miss Tina was dope, and Erykah was just I was like, "I wish I had come from your loins because you are the baddest chick." Like, when the cameras are off, because that's when they're actually more interesting, right?
Right.
God.
This platform is about bringing the energy, vibes, and inspiration. So I would love to hear from you, good sis. What gives you good vibes?
Oh, anybody that knows me know it's music.
Mm,
I'm such a music head. I like artistic, creative people. I think, like, music artists these days kinda have to be more than just a music artist, they gotta be everything in between.
yeah.
So, like, that and watching people like that work actually, watching any creative person work is it gives me life. You know, there's that saying, like, you can learn a lot about a person by doing 2 things, you watch them eat and you watch them pray. I am a fan of both because you just learn a lot about people, and I absorb. I love to absorb like that.
Mm. Watch them eat, watch them pray. And to your point, watch folks create, get in the rhythm, get in their zone, and just pour themselves into uh, their creation.
Yeah, it's a
Mm.
beautiful thing.
Is there a song genre like your go-to where you gonna put that needle to the record, you're gonna vibe out to yeah, I love me some vinyl still, but
Oh, for real, real. It kinda depends on the mood, but, like,
Mhm.
my go-to will always be, like, where there's joy, it's jazz, even, like, dark jazz, but just jazz, because that's what I shared a lot with my dad growing up down south. Um, that's where it comes from, but then, I with COVID, I missed the days of being stuck in traffic, and then I'd be frustrated, and I could throw on some, like, really hardcore, underground, gritty, like you done been through some things, that kinda underground hip hop.
I dig it. Growing up in New York, I put on some of my
Mm,
gully hip hop because it's just
with the Timbs and
so
the puppy jacket.
come on. There's just something so raw, so pure. I love me some, like, State Property type joints, of course, Eric B. and Rakim. Rakim's a lyrical genius, of course.
Whenever anybody talks about Eric B. and Rakim, it's like, oh, it's spiritual. And then the fact that, like, Rakim has had an entire career and has never had to curse.
He talks about his parents, and he never cursed at in the house, so he just felt like, "My folks are gonna listen to this. I don't want them to hear me cursing." He
And
didn't
it
have
wasn't
to.
put on, it was that was real. You'd feel like you just been cut by, like, 1,000 blades.
Ugh. Matter of fact, this just sent me back. That's the last time I saw you,
Yeah.
was at the what was the name of that
I
show?
don't even know what that show was, but that show had everybody. I mean, it had, like, Rakim was there,
Mhm,
there was all these old school hip hop heads, and then
mhm.
the Shoreline.
Yes, it was at the shoreline.
Man,
It was at the shoreline. So, outside, beautiful,
we was
straight vibe.
outside.
We was outside, dude, we was outside. So, we Far Side.
Mhm.
We had Wu-Tang. I'm sorry, we had Method Man.
We were mad. Ugh, girl. A whole 'nother show
Huh,
talking about how our brothers have aged.
so well, so well.
That rooftop sitting head, break
Bobbing
neck
down.
nodding. Ooh.
That's my meth, okay? Like, I love the meth that he is now
That's my
coin
I wear Tim's
but
2 pairs of socks in the summertime for you, man. I wasn't a full-time New Yorker, but for real though, those were the days.
listen, we got another show. As a Black woman, as a leader in design, talk to me about your journey.
Yeah, I wanna talk to you when I got probably somebody outside blowing beards or blowing stuff around the front door of my house, so hopefully you can still hear me. I apologize, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Joys of working from home.
Yes.
Um, you I it's no secret, it's been a lonely road.
Mm,
I have not, seen a lot of people that look like me. The fact that and we're talking about being in the 2000s, and I am Google Alphabet's first Black UX director, that's it was a moment when that came, and I was, like, proud, and I was like, "Mama, look," I'm running home to tell them, "Look," but at the same time, it's sad because it was like, this is a long time coming, and it shouldn't take this long. I know there are people like me. I know there are people better than me who should be in these positions. And where our why are we not here? And so a lot of my time in my career has actually had to been spent bringing people in, to take up space. There have been times I've wanted to leave jobs and I've stayed because it's like, I can't give this over to them. I cannot give them this seat back. The seat is mine. The seat is ours. So, nah. But Eh, it's hard because again, if you're the first, you have to be okay with also being and setting a stage for others. That's what
mhm,
I'm good at. I'm good at building stages.
mhm.
You need an arena, I got you. You need a stage and lighting, I got you. And I'm not just saying that this is a euphemism for like even my teams. This is not about me. This is about giving y'all a platform because y'all need to grow. You need to move on, you need to excel, and you need to take my seat. So I think about things like progression and people being sustained. And yeah, I tell people on my team, like, come from my seat. That's what your job is too.
Yeah.
Do this, learn by all means, be good at your craft, but come from my seat because it has to be made available to somebody else. I'm not going to be here forever. I don't want to do this forever. My job is to make sure that you guys grow. I hope that I've done and left things in a better state and technology is helpful. And that's probably also why I still get real upset too when I see like our folks turning away from it or I don't need to learn about whatever this NFT crap is. I don't need to learn about or engage in this stuff. But yet we consume it by the bucket full. It's not enough to just consume the stuff these companies put in front of us. Own it too. Make it. Decide how it fits in our lives.
Yes.
So,
Design it, own it,
yeah,
create it. Don't just be the consumers of it because others are getting very rich off of it.
that part.